Sierra Leone, push. You my killer, this is for them. What for you say?
This ain't not a kush. No, not a kush. No, not a kush. Oh yeah, I can feel them. What are they on me eye? We are they see me sister them. They die in the street. Oh, me I can feel them. When they see me brother them in the streets. Yeah, some they link they not. Some lay down a guts at the sleep. Oh. So when I ask, they tell me say na kush. Nike pull roll and son of them food. They prefer for left the horse, they gonna get so all day they kush. Oh yeah, say not a kush. Oh. Me brother don't want before him friend. Say not a kush. Oh. So we they use the old age man youngest. Say not a kush. Oh. Youths them just they die. Say not a kush. Oh. Sorry salone. We say that's a cushion. Hey, push for die. Say that's a cushion. Papa government help we are. Say that's a cushion. Hey, push for die. Say that's a cushion. What for you to say? Is it all?
Yes. Fumble them on a good afternoon, on a good evening, and depending on usa on a fan on a self na the world, on a good morning. So basically, I don't come back today. No say I can lost for on a small I come back, but things will settle very soon. You know, like I say, multiple priorities, multiple tasks. I always a multitask. Things will settle soon. And then when things settle, you're going to see me on the constant, right? You're going to see me on the constant. If you just join me from wherever they join me from today, again, we don't come for can't sit down inside a very important topic when violence against women on the rise in Sierra Leone, a call for an urgent action. If una done there with me, una go know for say 2 weeks ago, we did a good introduction of this topic. Yeah, so, and basically we, try for lay a good foundation of, like try for lay a preamble, try for lay a good foundation. We go, we rotate, we whatever. But inside that topic, they want to know for say we deal with three subject matter, three individual issues then. However, inside today's topic, I'm not a mixer with anything. So for the next 2 hours, waiting on they can get not just about violence against women, the culture, those our culture facilitates what we call or what we see as violence against women. Is our culture how do they call it, a service stop basically for the thing there so because we create people like can say if you don't know how you they go, if you know how you come out, not so I will make we sit down because we don't talk this thing, we don't talk and go, we don't talk and come, and it look like say we don't really understand who side we come out. Because or either we understand and we dey make like say we no understand who side we come out. Because if we understand who side we come out and we all agree on who side we come out, then definitely wetin go happen is that we don't get a collective understanding and agreement say na yes so we come out. Now, then we can all agree say na yes so we want for go. Right? So now that make I dey use the Creole parable to say if we don't know who side we dey go, because it look like say we don't know who side we want for go yet, at least make we know usai we comot. And by knowing usai we comot, then we all can sit down as one family and decide say na yaso we want for go. So before I lay the foundation way basically go be a good preamble for this discussion because it involve a statesman and other issues them way surrounding that. I get two people there with me now. So when I themselves same one been sit down inside this kotokuya so and discuss the first topic with me. So how me go come, I can't handle this topic me one green. I can't do that. So anytime I need for handle this topic and they're available, I go bring them come so that make them safe can engage, make we all engage. Plus una own comments there now. Una not just a watch no more without una not comment because if una notice once in a while I will look at your comments. I will see if there is something to draw from there and I'll add it to the show. And also, una not forget for call the phone lines them and give una your contributions them. Okay? So I want to take a quick minute, make I go through the we phone lines them before I make we guess them say adutona. So basically for we North American toll free number now 1-866-944-7722. For we UK local line na +44-20-808-91455. For we Australia local line na +61-29-09-84-337. And then we get the WhatsApp number where basically now a universal number you can call from anywhere using the WhatsApp number where now 1-343-997-5828. So now don't forget say we get with radio station na Salone where na FM 91.9 and you can also download we station by downloading the mobile app them from Google, the Google Play Store as well as the Apple Store. Now, Miss Alima tell family I do Miss Alima obviously on and for saying MBE. So when they talk to me guests they make una Mojuba okay una for Mojuba.
Una kusho, una kabo, una afternoon, good morning, good evening, Piari, Njarama, Bulketani, Mbua. I don't forget you have to say hello, Pansuso and Madingo, but una all kushe, una kabo for joining we.
Okay, Pajamboya, you go take this also and Madingo.
Na cabo how na they do. I don't tell you
Well,
so they are Tanamu.
yes. Well, to me, and since they don't do most of the tribes them, inside Salone. How about me? I go international. Make me start not left behind. So at least make me say come my stars. Come my stars. Make I say, bonjour. Bonjour les amis. Anyways, all jokes aside though, this is a very serious conversation and it's a conversation that is ongoing. That's a conversation where we cannot relent on. I know for say some people will say all term, the same topic. But listen people, if we not talk about the same topic, how we expect for make improvement. If we not address the issues them head on, if we continue for sweep them under the carpet, and then we go on the international space, and then they act like for say all is well, we will know for say dirty pile now we backyard. And not only pile now we backyard, it don't come inside the compound, and it then now on a gate, it happen at the gate. As a matter of fact, in some cases, you know, even it happen at the gate, it don't come at the main road. So make we know they hide, make we they talk about anything. And so I know for say it's hard, it's the difficult topic. Sometimes it might even involve, you know, your family member them or this and that. Sometimes it might involve close friends. We are not here to castigate or for put blame in on anybody, right? We're just here to have a simple discussion and to the best of our abilities provide some solutions then where we feel say if those in authorities, those responsible, the lawmakers, the policymakers, you know, the activists, because I'm not sure if activism they again a salon at present. I'm just being honest. It's been a while since I see it a mass. They laugh. I have to be honest. I'm just saying waiting I observe. Maybe
What
there
we have
is.
is a society, not civil society.
You know, maybe we have it and I'm just not aware. And so if we have it and I'm
Now
not aware,
say we have evil society, not civil society.
well, I would hope that from where we have come from, excuse me, everything where we don't endure as a nation, that we will not have a dormant civil society, we will not have a dormant, you know, community engagement leaders them and activists them, because from whence we've come from, a very, very crucial, a very, very paramount that these bodies then, you know, be active. And today I not want to touch much on the, I think her name is Sia Kamara, the one, her matter, yes, Sia Kamara, the slain victim, I will say, by a boyfriend. The matter then a court, and they follow the proceedings. And they follow the proceedings. For me particularly, I feel say nothing substantial not happen it for make I really go in depth into them more than what I've already said, right? Because right now they just meet, the man has pleaded not guilty on all counts. And as a matter of fact, to me understanding, he has lawyered up. When I say lawyered up, he has lawyered up, right? But at the end of the day, I'm not going to say because he don't lawyer up, he's guilty or not guilty. We are going to look at the facts. We are going to look at the case, how it is presented in court, waiting in defense put up and waiting the state put up, right? I know in these issues, if I go back now in memory, there was the case of this little girl that I took on from beginning to the end, and at the end of the day, the result was abysmal. I forgot the little girl's name. I believe her name was Khadija. If I not forget, a 5-year-old. You know, her name was Khadija. She was 5 years old, raped by, I believe, the stepbrother. You know, and then basically murdered. You know, make we call a spade, right? But all of the effort put in, all of the work put in, all of the advocacy and everything, at the end of the day, this is why you say you do it for humanity, really. And at the end of the day, I am not a lawyer. I'm not in I am in policy, but I'm not in policy making in Sierra Leone. I work in international policies, so therefore I understand the subject matter pretty well given my field of work. However, I don't get the qualifications them. And when I say I don't get the qualifications them, not because I don't get the qualifications them for work in a salon, but I am not directly involved in lawmaking in Sierra Leone to have any form of, you know, say, right? So, like I say, we're going to continue for watch this case, and when the time is right, we'll bring it to the forefront in full force again. But for this why I want for ask me guest them force, there is a certain minister in the nation, and I'm gonna, because it's out there, I am not the one saying it first. He is the current minister of works in Sierra Leone, who has been accused of victimizing his stepdaughters. Both of them, if I'm not mistaken, at around the same age. So the first one on her 18th birthday, I believe the second one as well at around that same age. Now, I know I will ask Una a quick question, the panelists a quick question. Una don't hear about this issue or Una not hear about it. I'll give a quick synopsis of what the victims have had to say before we go inside proper.
Yes, we have
Anyone of
actually. I
this?
I have
actually
heard
witnessed. Yeah.
I have heard about it. I have listened to discussions on it, and I think I'm very much fair with what it involves.
Okay. Now, um, Madam Alimai, what about you?
Yes, I mean, first of all, good evening. And again, thank you for inviting me for can have this important discussion. And I think it's timely and as something where we need to talk about. In my own case, as always, when I see things like, violence against women and girls, particularly when victims are speaking out for the first time, if I have the opportunity in witnessing what the victims are having to say, I will always be there. Because it's important for that we capture the moment in which these discussions are happening. And I'm sure this is one of the discussions that where we go get is I always tend to look at the attitudes of the audience towards the victim who's making the allegations. And these are very, very strong allegations. And obviously, not to jeopardize future litigation against the perpetrator, the alleged perpetrator here, but these were coming allegations. And obviously, we would advise the audience to maybe visit the page of the young victim or the young woman who's making the allegations and hear from the horse's own mouth. For me, there were allegations that were made which were, in so many instances, these are scenarios we have heard and seen in Sierra Leone. As an advocate myself, we don't advocate on these issues for many, many years. This was not an isolated case. In fact, this is something we seem for to happen on almost a regular basis. And for me, I was shocked at some of the responses from the Sierra Leonean people then. And I'm thinking it's been 2024. Some of the attitudes and the responses of the people that maybe they watch the conversation of this young woman, and I just thought to myself, I say, nobody not even say, let we step aside for say this situation where they're happening right in front of our eyes. For a country we don't go through the most brutal when we look at abuse on women during the Civil War, and we don't get a situation where the country will declare a state of emergency against rape, and then we don't get instances where just less than few months ago the government made headline in saying that they banned child marriage. And not only that, me myself as a survivor and an activist where they call on the elimination of female genital mutilation at Sierra Leone, when I see the amount of vitriol, like literally people then they talk to this speaking. As a mama, I get to hold myself emotionally back because I ask myself one question. There was nobody in that thread of commentary where they go on, where step and say, let us excuse ourselves from the way I would call the entanglement. Yes, some people knew who the individual was, then some people didn't know. Let us put politics aside, let us remove everything aside. This is a child, right? Regardless of whether step or no step. This is not a child coming to the public and telling the public, saying, this is what my father has done, not just to me, but has done to my sister, and my mother is aware. I think with every sentiment as a human being, for us as citizens and as Sierra Leoneans in particular, is to say, you know what, let us hear, even if we don't want to say anything, let we listen. Because this is an allegation that went beyond the normal frame of discussion that families would have in a public space. And there
Yes.
were details. If only people then could excuse their sentimental attachment to the case and not look at it from a supporting a politician or so. This is somebody in power, a man. This was a child saying at age 8 and at age 18, something happened in my home. And we know as an advocate, in the UK, for example, there's data that suggests, say,
Another one for courtship.
yes, ma'am.
She was so precise to the point that she came back when people misunderstanding statement. She came back and said, I did not say Dennis Sandy attempted to rape me or anything at age 8. He said it was a different family member. It had nothing to do with
Yes,
Dennis Sandy. However, at age 18, this is what
yes.
Dennis Sandy did. And I just want to take a pause actually as I look at the title. Make I just talk to the producer at the back
Mhm.
end to say,
Sure.
is it
Mhm.
possible to just switch the title to say, instead of a call for urgent action for the part two, make we put the case of Dennis Sandy versus his stepdaughters, if we have space. The case of
Mhm.
Dr. Dennis Sandy versus his stepdaughters. If we're able to do that, I'll appreciate it. Thank you. Go ahead,
Mhm.
please.
Yes, and for me, I had to remove myself and look at it from an angle of this is an individual. They come out to the public, and we know in the UK, for example, it's in the UK, it take a victim of abuse of any kind at least 25 times attempt for make them seek help. Within that mean it will take them up to about that amount of time for let them try for tell somebody, call somebody, reach out to somebody. So for let you go see somebody, we don't say, you know waiting, knowing the country where I commode, knowing the community where I commode, knowing the person where I be, I am prepared to lose all that for make I tell the world saying that this happened to me. As a person wey sitting at the Truth and Reconciliation and Special Courts, and you see where issues of when I say serious gender-based violence like rape, FGM occurred during the Civil War, you go think by now a country where they don't strip we bare as women them. We have seen the ultimate worst kind of abuse and violence for so many of us. 9 out of 10 Sierra Leonean women, it says, at some point in our lives, we don't experience some kind of abuse, whether it be sexual abuse, whether it be sexual harassment, whether it be molestation, men picking abuse, men picking abuse. Now, modern day slavery or not slavery in itself. So then you look at everything else. I know sometimes we can say we culture, we tradition, but it has been now decades since the Civil War, and going beyond the Civil War, we don't get other things that we don't remind we as a country that we don't come a long way for let we be stagnant in we attitudes and mental approach. Mental, because for me, hurt people. Is it because we don't so immune we serve to this kind of behavior in our country, that we don't normalize the pain of women, and that we not even accept where women and come out and say this is what has happened to me. Then you look at everything else we don't happen at the world, the Me Too movement. We get the PDD case where they're on right now, and look at the uproar where the society in the United States don't take against this case. You get the Harvey Weinstein case in America, in Hollywood, where people they don't act. Why is it when we get similar situations in Africa, and Sierra Leone is no exemption to this rule? Why is it we are not bothered for we woman and girl picking there? So for me, I was disturbed to see that not a single person, apart from a group of women there, we were really upset at what has happened. But majority of the people that they watch that young picky in conversation, and these were young people, young men. We don't normalize that the next generation don't feel say it's that easy for let we condemn a case such as this. And therefore there will never ever be, if this is the attitudes we have. For me as a sociologist, I always look at construct, the onset of something and the beginning of something. I'm always looking at what is it that is not compelling the people the way they watch the conversation to be so
Exactly.
angry at what they are hearing.
I want only
Yes, ma'am.
writers. What is
Yeah.
it? So the people that when they watch the conversation that is not compelling, we know they click. I want to go to Mr. Jamboya. Mr. Jamboya, I want to ask you
Yes,
this question.
ma'am.
When this
Okay.
whole
Thank you very
situation
much.
in this family happened, right? For me, it been shocking for me that not to the alleged perpetrator come and defend himself, but the sister, the older sister of the alleged perpetrator, was the first person to come out and debunk this act. And so I begin to ask myself the question, and like Miss Alima, they say a lot of people them they question the lady, even with proof, even with evidence. So the question when me want ask is that is it that our society no understand the impact, the gravity of this, or they need to be taught the gravity of this, because there is something that is not gelling, there is something that is missing. So what is that missing piece? What is that missing piece?
Thank you very much. That was where I'm going to start. I mean, they take note where Alima they talk, and she came with a very important question. Why is it that we are not bothered? Why is it that we are not bothered? You see, now we look at this issue from a very global point of view. I'm happy Alima is a sociologist. She would understand every part where they go. We are like computers, the human race. What you put in, now they produce. We cultures, we traditions, then they shape we into what we they become as adults. I don't care whether the person go to the most Ivy institution or not. What if we don't learn at an early stage? If we continue on that path, try to say, okay, let me examine this. Is this correct? If it is not, how do I come with an alternative? You see, we get for study the Sierra Leonean behavior patterns. One, we not clannish people. We so clannish that even when we come at the diaspora, we tend for the live together as Sierra Leoneans. So if somebody in the Washington 30 years today, but the person still they live in a freedom. They think like freedom. You bring the same na London, na the same thing you they see. Wherever we are, they gel together and continue for believing what we had believed before. Even when you were separate, we go to the best universities. As long as we are in contact with our roots, they will always be coming to influence the way we think. So it doesn't matter whether the person get Western education or not. So this is the problem we have, and how do we solve this? For us to change the situation, we have to look at the dynamics we involved. Maybe both of the people are victims. I'm not making a case for Dennis Sandy, but maybe he's the victim of a culture that he has been brought up in that believes in these things. Gladly, I say there had been several cases, and I know in 2003 there was a report written by Human Rights Watch, a detailed report on rape during the war years. The TRC report gets the whole document on rape. But the question is, why is it that nothing has been done since we had these reports? Because we are comfortable with it. And we would stop being comfortable with it when we begin to talk like we are talking now, understanding that some of these things, even though they are norms, but we need to revise them. Why? Because Sierra Leone is not a unicultural place. And this brings me to the next point where I want to make. That some of them things here they happen because of failures of the generation of the 60s and 70s. When we had independence, rather than we sit down and create a roadmap for our cultural, economic, and social unity, we were busy preaching politics and division. We left everything to chance. So this is what we have today. A destroyed society. The emotional structure, the psychological structure, the economic structures were never prepared. Take a contrast to Botswana that got independence in 1966. A country that had 22 graduates with independence and a few secondary school graduates. Because the people who took the country to independence had the wish to create a nation, they came with those policies and they came with all the economic interventions that has given Botswana the advantage of owning 50% share in our diamond industries, which is our economic strength. And we see a country that is developed. Unlike Sierra Leone, we created an individual society based on clans and communities. So whatever was practiced before still prevails. How do we change this?
So
This is
I
where
want
people
make it a broken down. I want make it a broken down inside Creole. I
let me
want make it
finish
a
this
broken
point.
small inside Creole
All
for the
right.
one that
Sorry.
I
Sorry,
understand
I'm
we
carried
not sudden.
away. Sorry, but I'm carried away. What you know they say, when we get independence, we not do nothing for create Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone does not exist. Now begin to accept this fact. Sierra Leone only exists as a drawing on a paper we call a map. Sierra Leone does not have multi-cultures. We have a singular culture, but different practices and traditions where we not try to get a unified framework for. And above all, we not come with any public intervention or policy. We're going to make people understand, say, this may be right for our community, but it is not right for everybody. I hope you now understand what I mean. There are certain cultures where they accept them as normal, but it's not Sierra Leonean. It's not. So we get for find way to make people understand say this not good. How we go change it? This is where the work of cooperation and collaboration between government and agencies, they like the type interventions where Alima and they do for come together. Now get a national framework. And if you ask me, Sierra Leone needs a Ministry of Culture. Norway has one. Norway, where I live, they have a Ministry of Culture. There are certain things here that are controlled. Okay? They are
Yes.
controlled.
So I want
And
only
then we
this
have with all intervention to let people understand why they need for control them.
I want for only this I want to ask this question to now or two. You say that at independence, Sierra Leone not been get a unified framework, okay? And because we not been get a unified framework or a national framework, then they don't make a lot of things them don't derail, meaning that this one also come it doing on, that one they come it doing on, that one they come. There is no continuity of ideas, right? There is no continuity of an action plan, right? Or deliverable, if we put on that kind of way, they like was say, now this na the pot. If me don't put the pepper, when you come you for add the yabas. You know they can begin again for can put the firewood and put the look for pot and can add water, because maybe don't put the firewood, I don't add the water, I don't beat the pepper, I don't beat the yabas. I put the pepper inside, but I not be able to put the yabas. So when you come, you for can add the yabas. So na dande now you say missing na salon. Now that make, because na then the way that they can add the yabas, then when other person come, they say, okay, I don't mix the fire, the pot, then I fire, they don't put pepper, they don't put yabas, or make I add the oil now, make I add the palmine. Right? So now so you they build, because una get one thing where una all can meet we say, for example, today na petete leaf with the cook. And because na petete leaf with the cook, it no matter wetin happen, all man we can for eat for make at the end, waiting we get na petete leaf. Not to so. I want to ask una also this question here. So now, if even void of the fact safe say, let us agree say we not get a unified framework. If you were the president of Sierra Leone, if you were the first lady of Sierra Leone, listing everything when Miss Salima don't list, we go to the god there, where the Gawa or whatever act, we go to the child marriage and early marriage protection act, we go to the rape as an emergency and all them things. These are not just local action. These are local actions written in one I don't write na paper, one they go internationally, they purport say na so they do inside. Now then steps there so don't take for protect woman them and girl picking them. So knowing that, I dey ask you this question. Let us say someone is innocent until proven guilty, not so. However, with all of the evidence then thus far, where the alleged victims they don't pull na door, why has the government and the people then where they at the center of their act there or then thing they are so we supposed to protect women and girl picking them, why we know hearing full fair from them up until now? Is there a reason why? And if the side okay, so my question is two parts. Is there a reason why, and is their silence justified? Anyone power
Well,
can begin.
I can come in a little bit, and again, I'm looking at this at a two-prone approach, and I look at them from two angles. For the one that we not understand what I mean, I look at them from a sociologist angle, and then I look at them as a gender activist angle. All right. I think at the start of the conversation, we talk about what is the role of civil society, what is the role of people, and what is the role of the state. Now, when there are breakdown in systems and structures like we have in Sierra Leone, despite the good intentions of everything that is happening in Sierra Leone, unfortunately, we've allowed politics to rip the very core structure. It's like we have a house right now, a salon at the house, okay? And this house has windows and doors. But unfortunately, in the time of, say, since 2000 and when 1996, 2000, since the 2000, since the Lome Agreement, because in the Lome Agreement, there were several recommendations made. The TRC also made several recommendations. So this is me now with my activist and gender activist hat on. And the Malprat, which was an organization that worked for Bring the Peace, it was women of Sierra Leonean women who brought peace to Sierra Leone. And because during the conflict of the civil war in Salone, because Umanena, the population we suffer the most, unlike men, unfortunately, women suffer the most. And when peace not been they come forth as soon as there be one time, now woman they rally for peace. And one of the requirements and the recommendations that were made through the war situation in the Lome Agreement, they accept, say, for example, harmful practices were one of the biggest things that were used. We don't talk about. We were below the beginning of the war and how it came about. There was something where they call Dombowusu. Dombowusu start in the south, Kenema, and all of these places. And when Dombowusu be they come on, now almost at the time when they subject girls them to FGM. It was crude, it was wicked, it was evil, it was barbaric, it was bad. When I say bad, bad. And obviously, I don't want to remind Sierra Leoneans of that experience. Then we come at the issue of children being captured, trained to be rebels. Salona, one of the country we had the worst experience of child soldiers. Okay, so I lay the groundwork to where I'm coming with me point where I want to make. So when the agreement was made at the Lome agreement, one of the things they look at was how do we change attitudes? Because something happened in the 90s that got Sierra Leoneans involved in this deep seated anger, rage, hatred towards each other in we war. How can we change that attitude there? For let we see, say, we need to live together as human beings. We need to live together as humans, as fellow Sierra Leoneans, regardless of your ethnic group or your religion or your background. We had to live together as one people, right? And then so then put out this requirement. And I believe in the time of Anes Bai Koroma, the former president, I think it be set out as a gender change or gender perspective he had. One of the attitudinal change and the 8 pillars towards walking towards which we look at, like, for example, having 50-50 women. The GWA way we only sign up to was one of those recommendations. The other recommendation was that the government of Sierra Leone of the day look at separating the state and traditional and civil and traditional what we call informal laws in the country, right? And every other thing. There were so many things that unfortunately politics don't deprive Sierra Leoneans them of engaging in conversations where the voices of women need to be heard. And unfortunately, politics don't rob civil society of this very position that the civil society then had to influence these kind of changes. Where we go pass law, for example, Sierra Leone is a signatory to the CEDAW, the Convention on the Elimination of Violence Against Women and Girls. You know, there are several. We got the Mopoto Protocol, and obviously these new laws. For me, we have enough laws that Salone where for address issues around attitudes and behaviors towards violence and the acceptance of violence. Now that make I ask the question: why are we so comfortable hearing what we are hearing? Let me remove the fact that this is a politician. I'm not interested in all of that. I'm interested in something that has been said that sounds so grave to the mere ears that we need to say or do something, but it's not to condemn the victim. And this is the problem where we get. When we normalize and accept such behaviors, we say to victims and perpetrators in particular, it okay for let you carry on with you to do. And when they say to the victim, we don't care about you, we're not busy about you. Now that make cases of these experiences there, sexual abuse, gender-based violence, exploitation of women there. We picking the dongo partner, Lebanon, Saudi Arabia, all them here they happen. We are not bothered. Why? Because the status of women, I think there was a report done several years ago which says Sierra Leone are the least gendered country in the world. We have laws, but in implementing these laws and making the people that understand the importance of this law, not just saying we have end child marriage as a law, What does it mean for every Sierra Leonean for us to have such laws in our land? We get sexual abuse and sexual harassment laws. What does it mean for us as as a nation of these laws? Because when we allow behavior like this, what do we dey say? We dey open the door of this we house where we don't where we're not even done for repair. We still the repair. Salona, a country where still they under enormous repairing. We always just they fix the front door, more no more, just they fix the front door. But there's a toilet to be fixed. There's the bedroom to be finished plastering. The bed need for fixing. And that. We know they ever done for fix because the people are what's the word I want to use? Is that there's a vacuum in our roles as citizens towards issues of the country. We don't leave everything at the hand of politicians for let them guide and direct we. And unfortunately, there needs to be a middle ground where go allow for we as citizens for call for what we want for see. And this is the problem I define with the activists that we get today in Sierra Leone. A young woman coming out in the public like this, if it was anywhere else in the United Kingdom, in the US, we don't want for compare we within at this diaspora with waiting they happen now with diaspora countries then to Sierra Leone. We don't want to do that. But we have to do it so that we can make the case for say the minute this young woman begin for talk about a experiences of waiting it don't go through the next day, if we were independent of thought and our attitudes toward these things were that of like we don't want this in our society, we refuse for let these things keep going on without being questioned or without holding the people responsible accountable. By right, the authorities, because not just the government but the authorities should have been asking this woman. The government of the day should have said, okay, this is somebody who is working for us. These allegations, although we don't have the evidence just yet, but it taints the office in which this individual they work. And so, therefore, because we don't want to create further uncertainty, fear among the citizens, and for and give like a signal to other people that for do such behavior, we will either suspend the individual pending further investigations. Of course, he will be suspended with pay, but we don't want to let people then see say this is okay. This is your child. She has gone to the public and not get evidence, but in order for protect the government, the institution as in the government, in order to protect citizen for your own protection as well, the perpetrator that is, to protect you from this kind of public scrutiny, public chastisement, we will ask you to vacuum your position right now, vacate your position right now, pending investigation. If at all the victim comes forward and remove themselves from the case and say, I no longer want to pursue this matter, then that's fine. But I think the first and the right thing to do, forgive other people then that confidence in saying, if ever I were to find myself as a victim in this situation, this is what the government or the state will do to protect me. And then on by extension of that, I would have wanted to see women-led organizations there where they work with victims of such for by now don't put out a statement calling for the authorities to take the appropriate action so that we can restore and bring back this confidence in victims, because when these kind of things happen it has a ripple effect. Victims will not come forward, and there are many. We don't get so many cases, unfortunately. They come out to the public and before you know it they disappear, we're not here. And now that make each time when victims and then they come forward, sadly the public's view will say, oh, you remember trading, and so one woman come out, it talk, nothing not happen. Let we start something and finish them. So for me, I think for me, if I were the president, because the question was that if you were the president of Sierra Leone, what would you do? If I were the president, this is somebody in my senior political uh, 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 um, what you call him?
Space,
His
environment.
team, his senior team. This is his senior team. Somebody in high office would be. I would have called this individual by now and say, "Oh, we don't want a public uproar. The public have heard these allegations. We don't have the details just yet, but please, for let we go, make sure say we are seen to be doing the right thing by the people of Sierra Leone, and not to because they're politician, not to because that this, but it's the right thing to do. If this was any of their child coming out and saying to the public, this is something happened to me, we all would have been acting, right? So I
Yeah.
think the non-response of the government, the non-response of the law enforcement, the non-response of the civil society, they tell me as a Sierra Leonean living in the diaspora that unfortunately nobody cares for
Right.
victims.
Okay.
Nobody.
I want to go to Mr. Jamboria. Waiting now you don't take on the question or ask. If you want, I can repeat the question again. But waiting now
That
you
you
go.
don't repeat it. I know your question.
So the
If
question
we are,
was like, yes, if you
we-
were knowing everything that you know, knowing all the acts them where you don't go, make we forget about, okay, we not get a how they call them, a universal framework, a national framework, whatever. But however, this is someone who seemingly they go on for say, I go take the call and make I just end me trend of thought. Seemingly they go on for say, that the champion women course, then the champion girls courses, then the champion, not just from the local stage, but at the international world stage. So why something like that they go come out with evidence to the fact again you are innocent until proven guilty. However, with evidence to the fact, and there is a silence, and there has been no action taken. All your thoughts make I go to the caller, and then I go bring you in. Caller, waiting on your name and also you they call from.
Yes, so Matilda, how are you?
I am good.
This na salon fresh out. How na they do?
I'm okay.
Yeah, they listen a very interesting program by the way. How come I dey
Thank
hear
you.
myself? It dey echo.
Maybe from your end, if you get a device on, then you go hear me feedback.
Look, I want to say man like we na the upcoming generation, right? So I dey listen to everything wetin dey go on. Not to say the law not dey. The law dey. The problem is na salon. Now the enforcement, the corruption, then too much. The laws then at the book. But the problem is there's too many the problem is
If
there's too
you
many
the
cherry
device
picking,
way, just give me a second. Here is the trick. If the
you know?
device where you they
There's too
listen
many
the
cherry picking at the country. For example, if the police don't arrest certain suspect, the courts now they back the problem go dey, whether they go follow within the law say na the book or somehow they go talk it somehow. Um, you see, all these two when they talk, so I think week in, week out, when they come here, when they talk, what's in the happen. But really, if we look deep inside the culture, we get the culture in the country, we'll not get leaderships, you know. And I want to speak to Sierra Leonean directly. Basically, what one they say just this week, I just read that the first lady received an award from the House of Commons in the UK, basically fighting against this kind of crime. So when we talk about this issue, and then you get international bodies, then they say, the first lady, they do the work, but we they come here and say nothing is being done. So it look like, what are we saying really? If we they try for fight against the problem of the country, and then we get international bodies that they say, well done, that is a problem. So really need for speak against these international bodies them. We just talk about the issues, but the most important thing this week alone, for UK to come out and praise the First Lady, that is an issue for me. When you look at it, because it just started like nobody and say the president they do what they do, but they really reflect. It's an issue. So, and again, it sounds like there's a gender-based divide. We seems to be beating the men, and the woman themselves then get issued, to be honest. In our generation today. So any reflection are willing to listen.
So basically, I go make you hang up because now 3 minutes with a give a caller then, and I get other caller then at the line, and I shall say my panelists them go add or give a comment on you, your observation. Thank you very much for calling. I will go to the next caller. Caller, what's your name and who you call from?
Thank you so much, Elisa, and we brother Jamboria, and we lovely sister. And I thank you so much for fight for the woman and our country today. I just want to bring the attention for Ole Nanose. VOS is a credible media. Una do so much, una do 2 women and 1 man. But at the Act Jamboria, they represent with the man them because then tell they happen back. Woman and back they can abuse with the man them back. Let's stand our own side. Because then say I know they happen also just to the woman, they can happen back to the man them. So, but I wonder we bring ourselves to attention. This way happens to Sandy, not to one person that come out to. Now 2 of him picking them. If you see he get the bold mind, he won't picking them, he will attempt anything a day. Now we reflect. Now be lecturer at Afobe College. And most people they go don't do them bad thing there so. So, but I tell you, I thank you for long. I bring them up and I continue for be advocate for the woman them, for talk for the woman them. Because if I don't do them, they would expect salon people for fight for the sister and for the picking and then fail for do that day. Except we did the aspire for do that thing and they let God bless you, let God bless your family them. And I always continue for pray for now. And we'll continue. Case not they die. Even the apples when they die. Because remember this year happen now many years, the became 18 years and this year happen. So it still bring a come for let us say still disturb them. So they ask, Lord, not set we continue for advocate for their young people that will come out. And finally, they encourage this woman, this people talk. So a lot of people and they want for talk, but they're afraid. They try to mask them. But I can always bring the attention. I don't know. Fatima Bio is saying that for them what they fight for. Truth not for the fight for. It can't for fight the APC them. If not be example, so if not be the Secretary General for APC, then they get this. Then they be talk so. Now different thing happen if we don't arrest her, they don't put in herself right now. But Sandy said for don't even take it upon himself for no say, he forget respect for say like resign from the power, let go fight the skin. Because we know some say don't do them, but an allegation, instead for come out and defend himself, or no say defend himself. But you not still defend himself because look what I'm gonna ask him. It's I'm gonna waiting anything a bad news, and I'm gonna left for talk about. You don't get they don't tell you say he do that exactly. So they ask for justice. And at that Jambo, you are still advocate for with the man they say what they can do, woman they can do. Because sexual harassment they different. Harassment they different. Financial harassment they with the woman they go money for low leader them and abuse them they do. At the ask this particular forum, VOS family, that will stand for the people and for that country today. And at the ask let God bless Una and let we continue for listening to the program. Because I just can't the program I see the headline. So I don't know if it's not be because I'm gonna be the listener too. Sandy, Okay, good. So for that aspect, they ask, let me continue for fight, because a lot of people want come out, but they try for mass this with sister also, this with Piki also, for let the other not come out. And if we empower them, we make sure say the truth come out. Trust me, a lot of people will come out. The one in Afobe College, the other the lecturer, they do that thing, and they will come out and let them penalty them. But not to formate the law, how for execute the law, and now they fail and consider. They will get a lot of fine, beautiful law, them on they work on that. So they ask, we they oversee, all the time for advocates for them people, and because I don't feel say 50-50, then I consider, then can't say, then set them out, not do nothing. We get a lot of women group them and not consider, no, we do nothing, because Fatima Bio don't lock them all down, don't make sure say enough for talk. Now, no more for talk. If you see talk, it's what you have for talk, now they talk. We let them set them out, which is completely bad. But we they continue for fight for justice, and I believe say this VOS family go to for talk them out, for let everybody know, let the world know for no say that this happen. May God bless you. I don't the beep. May God bless you now. Let God for bless my family. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, caller. I will go to the next caller. Caller, waiting on your name and who's where you call from.
Hello, viewers. This is Umaru the call.
Okay. Go ahead, Umar. What you get for me today?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. What you get for me today?
When they get me, eh?
Yes, will they get you?
Okay. Sometimes I really admire now this English name can admire integrity. When I wanna ask who in another studio, where another studio there. When don't ever see thief man or that somebody they lie. Integrity. That word integrity, it is far from them. Sierra Leone, that particular seat, the presidency, nine dishonest. Now we get luck forget Lyman. They will not get Lyman at Tifma would get it. Will not get Tifman or other somebody way before say will not go know how they describe them. So when you get them type of people and they all return at that seat, it could be very difficult. And that make we see, because if you not get dishonest somebody or you not get somebody that lack integrity, you get a whole cabinet. Then you get a minister or a senior government official misbehave. And also say, let me delete myself first now the system for now. Let the case go. It's the self-ported, you are the head of the cabinet, you are the head of the government. Ask that man for let's stay as corner. Even though we know say most of the one that can keep them in a corner, when they call about put them into government one way or the other. But at least let them then at the corner. If an allegation, let it go on first. Let them find out. If you're not guilty, come back. But Salone president then. The only president where me I say again integrity is more. And I'm more. Because he misbehaved, at least he apologized to the entire nation. But other than that, Salone we doom right now. We kind time of leaders. Then and somebody talk again but international community. Let me tell you something. The civil society in that country are lazy. Whenever government officials can come out, talk something or then give report, you not get nobody where they come to that report see. Because all the time they don't take sides. Either APC civil society or SFPP civil society. So now that make you see all government officials they come, whether not the anti-corruption bar, whether not this bar, they can't give you a lengthy explanation. Nobody know they for counter. So tell me true, how the international community not go believe, and the international community representatives wouldn't get it again. They don't be corrupt within the system. They're so lazy, they don't know to do their work. So then just do them rather than diplomatic offices and rather than NGO offices, then they take report, then they cross-check the report and then send the report. And then when the way na the main offices them, whether it be na Germany, but na America, but also not to magicians and then. You see, now magicians he go say no more, if you don't say he go back. But then people then they did on report, then believe on their reports that way then people are they send. So if you don't make report, you don't send report, to a particular organization. They not get civil society the way they come around for check whether what you say or the report where you give na reality. Who do you go blame? You know, they blame the international community. They blame young people because when they say civil society, now that's what they for. Una for the part of the civil population. Not a part of government, not a part of political party, but we not get them. So now that make most of the time they see corruption, they go to that country, but then they give credit now internationally, and they grade internationally, but when you can locally corruption they. If they see first lady go talk all kind of thing, then go grade internationally, but we can locally na different thing. Because civil societies they know the work. And the NGOs the way they or the diplomatic people within that country, they're lazy. So you see, so until we solve most of the mysteries, then we go to see them thing where they happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Omar. I don't know if we get any other caller than at the line. If we not get any more call at the okay. Well, fire day today, fire day. I'll go to the next caller. Caller, waiting on your name and also you the call from. I don't know if we get any other caller than at the line. We not get any more calls at the okay. Hello, caller. So you need to dial you set Usai they listen to we so that you go when you talk we able to
Yeah, me na Salone first again.
okay.
The first time I call, I'll be very nervous anyway. Anyway, until me too, brother, then thank you for the call, for the point of view then give. I take them really well. But my brother say, make we not go the chastise the international bodies them. Something in the, if me a leader of Salone, I dey try for fix my country, then I dey get international pressure or international people that affect me. If they tell me say I can affect them back, I affect my own people then. If now lie the lie, now gonna international, the Minister of Information. The First Lady just received an award. Did they praise them? From who? From a high body, the House of Commons of the UK. What are we talking about? We get serious pandemic problem now the country, nothing at the work. And we cannot fix the country if we're not serious about it. We cannot fix it just based on feel good moment. We really need to tell people then the truth, whether it hurt or not. And we cannot continue going the way they go based on listening to international pressure, because it hasn't worked and it's not going to work. We have to do something by doing it ourselves as Sierra Leoneans. That's the only way. Sierra Leone has a serious issue. I know it's one they say. And our the women then will backbone them. They had the backbone of our economic. The woman them, when the man did the work now, the woman they step up. I know that from your mama. So I know it's one of the talk. We have to be serious. We need to tell the truth, two-side truth today. Madabio cannot fix it. The administration cannot do it. And America is not going to help us. The UK is not going to help us. I don't take One Sierra Leonean person is serious, like me, and he has to be, for knock all the door them, you know. Anyway, I will call back.
You are muted. Matilda, you're muted.
Thank you very much, caller. I will take one last call because I don't know if I will take calls them again because I want to give me panelists time for move on to the next sets of stuff.
Oh,
Then
Lagon.
um, I will take one last call. So and then I
Hello?
will hold off all them. Yes, please go ahead. What do you get for me?
Okay. I'm not just I'm not sorry for where I call back, but maybe my brother don't understand me. So I just make my point clear. When something come up, whenever the first lady get a project or wherever something in that country, we get bodies, well organized bodies away for checkmate. Whatever thing that in the advance a civilized country. One person had to go to Napoli or a head of state to go to Napoli, talk something. You get journalists that would ask crucial questions. You get civil societies. You get other organizations. We get oppositions. We said what they are all day. Why all the time we for blame international community for we own failures? It just sound like when you get to picking. Yeah? If the one don't do bad, say this one don't do bad, but the other don't know it's not to this one, this name one. But you hold this, you bitter. Then the one waiting up, you not talk. You them, what the whole idea where they go would say, when this name one. Because nobody know where they contact that statement. Now, intern like a country. Waiting happen in that country, you not get people where they challenge most of them statement or most of them fight where go say fight against corruption, this, that. Opposition and genuine body, genuine voice where go come, say, no, na so it be, no, not to so it be. And no day. It's either the civil society, the SFP civil societies, or the APC civil societies. Nobody they checkmate. So you don't go blame the international community. Then I'm waiting and they out. Then other with we will day inside, we get organizations that we get body, we get offices, we get divisions that will make way for checkmate or government activities, NGO activities. Then body need to work. If then the work, you know, go see something that happen with a serious type of violence against women also, they would accredit somebody over under. Now, because we body the way they in place, way for checkmate, most of them to happen, you need to work. Which civil society will get the one who get carried away the alala for education, for instance, they like today now SLBC goes AYB goes to the declare for SLPP. If you get another way, you go declare for APC. We no get genuine body where the investigating in a way go make sure so them put report where the international community they rely on. Now what in a whole need to work on. And most of them thing and the government official report now you need to work with because you don't get any other report to the contrary. You don't like what you go say, you get, for instance, look Palestine defect. No matter what you want, no matter what you don't want, you get journalists on the ground, the side of Palestinians, where they report the news. Who say we own a day? Like Lambrana, how many of Lambrana bad we get in that country? Would ask genuine questions. We get journalists the way politicians them for the in quotes my word, they panic for ask questions. So you don't go blame international community for that. We institutions the way they get for work. They need to work. So now they talk. Maybe sometimes you go and don't understand me. And this year for say the international community, they're not there against we. If you're there against you, that man not go taking 20, 30, $40 million, they pour into you, say they're against you. So I need to understand that logic there. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. I hold off the phone lines for now. Mr. Jamboya, I will go on to you. Make you address the last question will be asked.
You say if I've been head of state, not so?
I
would have done it.
Head of
I would have
states,
done it differently.
we are looking at
I would have done
what
it
would you have
different because I know different. We are as we think and we become as we think. I know different. The minister accused would have been sent on suspension. I would have instigated that we have a special committee to look at the issue. We call the young girl, we get inside, we get the other side stem. You see, why I start this way? We cannot expect anything better from the people we have in government. Now, I make I tell you now in the beginning, say, all this problem now a manifestation of how bad we started in 1960s and 70s. Instead of we sit down for create a framework for a country, we were busy with politics, APC, SLPP, Agbata, and other politics. They cause and fets, they do toggery. Now the present generation, now that then sabi. And because some of them here are cultural traits, the way we don't they exist, we will not try to address how to modify or amend them. Now it's a problem for us. Now face them. We can change them. We can change them. And I think say now the change will they do so. Because some of us are bold enough to sit here and talk. I don't want to offend anybody. But some of these things are cultural traits that need to be addressed, but we address them with caution and empathy. What if Julius Madabio is doing the same thing? I will ask that question. So it don't make any difference to him. What if maybe Dennis Sandy knows something about Julius Madabio that Julius Madabio does not want out? Do you think he will take action? These are the pitfalls of a poor political structure. A structure that only preaches divide and egocentrism. And they destroy the country so. If I was president, I would have acted otherwise. Because for me, nobody not getting into ego can say against me. We have to look at a lot of parameters and see why this thing did be as it be so. Then, as some people they observe, we have women organizations in Sierra Leone. What are they doing about it? Do we know if they themselves are complicit? Let us ask. You see, it's a very complex situation. But by and large, I believe say USA don't reach. It's time for a few well-meaning Sierra Leoneans to come together and honestly address these issues with the empathy we demand. Why? Because change is a voluntary condition. Boy Jalo will only change if he is ready to change. If I've been believed saying I for drink rum and smoke jamba fine for me, nobody know able change that. Until I convince myself say this is not good, then it will change. So if we are going to change these situations, let we look at the people them where they cause the trouble, know why then they cause the trouble, give them reason for believe say this thing what they do is not good, is not correct. Like Alima said, we had all these agreements in the Lome agreement, we had everything in the TRC, but they cannot be implemented because those who should implement it don't see the relevance of it doing it. I hope you get the point. Now, when you see something relevant, now you do it. So how do we ensure that we create the relevance for this change to happen? It's like on advocacies like this. Whatever happens, because we don't begin talking, people then go don't begin get the impact and say, okay, it's time for us to begin to re-examine some of these things. Otherwise, it will continue unendingly. This is not the first and it's not going to be the last. Until we're ready for change individually in Sierra Leone. That change will they wish for, not they come. You know, they come. Especially in a situation like this, where they don't capture all the institutions. Because if we get forget that kind of change, now the media get for be proactive. But is our media proactive? The civil societies, are they proactive? No, nobody is saying anything. So the international community, they take the word of voting and they talk in international fora, then say, "Let's give the award." So as the last speaker caller say, we don't need for blame the international community. Now we for voice out. Now we for voice out. Let the one the way we all na fumble, no say we not glad with what you na they do. No change now.
Yeah, so I just want, before we move forward and I ask my next question, I just want to say to one of the caller them, we say, Mr. Jamboria for advocate for the man. You don't need Mr. Jamboria for advocate for him.
Now wait
Me when
some more.
Sidon
This
I
is
ask so, me when Sidon I ask so, me already can advocate for the man then. When I know they ever talk about the women then issue without being conscious of the fact that man themselves can be victims of this. So yes, I acknowledge that fully in its full right. I believe say one of the victims them or alleged victims then is actually watching us currently on one of our platforms and has actually made a comment. I'm not going to single her out with her comments, but I definitely I recognize the name and have seen the comment. One thing where I want for say about the internet, how international aid or bilateral aid or multilateral subvention or bilateral subvention they work in international partnership on them project there. So I will give a quick brief summary on why waiting make the caller were very frustrated and say why they still they give so and so person recognition where clearly in the land where not to so it dey be. You see the way international partnership works, they report them where the organizations them internationally then they receive. Like me, so I don't tell you I work for global affairs, right? Una can go check out waiting at global affairs. Basically, global affairs now the ministry, the government ministry that they were responsible for international trade, international relations, international affairs, as well as international development and international policies. Now that ministry they need to work for. And they work directly with all of Canada, the international assistance projects them. So I know those things so well. They report them not to the Canadian and they write them. Now the partner organization, then they write the report, then send and can to the sponsoring organization, like in this case, Canada. And not of us say they know they do checks and balances. But sometimes a project can go on for 5 years, where the field officer, where they come out, for example, say na Canada, sometimes na one visit no more go do. So one field visit for that project day. If you are lucky, maybe depending on the lifespan of the project, maybe 2 field visits. And they don't go unannounced. These visits are planned. So it's very easy also for make the local partner stage something and present them as fact to the visiting partner. So there is a lot of how they call it, complexity in this business until the way people are not understand. So now that make us say international partners, do they have blame? Yes, they get blame. But not forget to who side the story they come out. And they don't always have the how you call it the structure for always they do fact check. Not that they don't, they do. Right? They get an entire team that takes care where they take care of that. Best practices, lessons learned, all that thing, and they management of a project, and all that thing, and they risk analysis. Then get a whole team where they do that. But it is so complex that I don't want for derail this topic for talk about how that machine they operate in relation to how people can be easily fooled. Let me just leave it there.
And I also want to say to the question around for somebody we don't host several meetings then at the House of Commons, I don't work on several of the select committee then at the House of Commons. Listen, any ordinary Joe Blogs can host a meeting in the House of Commons. As long as you're a British citizen, you have an MP who has a constituency, you can request from your MP to you want to host a meeting. Anybody can host, do award ceremony in the House of Commons. This is the privilege that citizens have in the United Kingdom. Unfortunately, Sierra Leone don't have that kind of thing. And by the way, for me, I don't want to let this be about the first, because again, I don't want to take away from the importance of the conversation we're having here. It's not about the
Exactly.
first lady. And also, the reason why all these things keep falling back on deaf ears and nobody know the act, immediately we start a conversation such as this, it becomes politicized. Yes, politics is rightly so the mechanism, the mechanical plug where we need for pull for let things go happen. But I want to go back on something around where we did talk about these things. This is just on the mere personal individuals that were involved in this matter. I would have thought, as somebody we don't work the civil service, I don't work in local government, I don't work in local authority for many, many years. For the mere allegations made against you, the person, there are codes of conduct, there are standards of behavior, there are scrutiny bodies, there are all kinds of things where they hold checks and balances towards the behavior of we people that we are called people them in high office.
Right.
This is just so that there will be a decorum around the institution, the profession, the entity responsible. Here is somebody with great powers of responsibility, access to the public. There were more allegations apart from the sexual and abuse and harassment. There were allegations made of corruption. There were allegations made of threats to person to kill. There were audio saying somebody threatening an individual, say, I will kill you. You would have thought around the conduct of what we have had as citizens. Let me remove the fact that he's a politician. I mean, they feel like I say, okay, with everything else that we don't do as a country, we don't say we don't do certain things for improve. We code of ethics. We walking, we everything, right? This could have been, I want to give you an example for like I make the point where I want to make. Last year in the United Kingdom, several MPs then were charged for offense of sexual offenses. Okay. The political parties of which these MPs were members, not ACTO, it was the houses of parliament, the employer, because everybody is employed, right? The employer saw that the allegations were so serious, regardless of it being investigated or not, they felt that the offenses then be so serious against persons and public persons, constituents, and members of the public that the Houses of Parliament take the direct action without no investigation, suspend, ban the MPs them on the basis that we just hear Denkai allegation, and these are gross misconduct. These were gross misconduct that we hear. We did take the necessary action. If you are found to be innocent of the accusations and the allegations, then by all means we will bring you back into the office. But because we don't want to create this opportunity for put fear back again with society and the public, we did take this necessary step. And of course, the investigations took place. They find them politicians here actually guilty. So the first actions where the parliament do was right. They suspend and ban, because this is a thing where in any kind of work environment, okay, I believe as somebody within a high office, where we feel say high office get checks and balances, not a private institution. This na high office where the rules and regulations we apply they are different to where me, for example, me they work na a charity. It's so different because then people then they hold them at high standards in terms of their performance, in terms of their roles and responsibility where they get towards we, their constituents. So for then other person who will take upon himself and say, okay, well, if they let this one go, me say go do me, and because me not person with power, I can, when we allow power to circumvent laws and regulations of the land, what we're actually saying for those that want to break the law, it's okay. Nobody's above the law. Yes, we get the jurisprudence that Sierra Leone, we say innocent until proven guilty, but by fact of this being something so close to call, and these we cannot dispel or agree or whatever, we have to just go with what we have heard. And this young person show, for me, there was also something that was so alarming we make me, I say, well, if Sierra Leoneans are not bothered by what is being said and the image they've just seen, for me, it say a lot about the people. Have we become so cold to the idea that something horrible is happening and we are seeing? The lady made a statement. There was a video she played where I don't know if that be a conference or whatever. The lantern on which Ibn Timab they make the speech get the government crest on it. It had the emblem or whatever they call an emblem or crest. So for me, that was an official engagement, right? And this young person made a statement to the effect that when I was 8, I was sexually abused. And then when I was 18, I didn't hear, again, I'm thinking this was a government affair or an event. I didn't hear gasp like, waiting? Whoa. Everybody was just silent. And for me, it says a lot as a sociologist. It says a lot about the mental awareness when people talk then kind talk then they, and we are hearing a conversation around, and she's referring to herself in this case and in that video as a victim and da 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 da. But there was no gasp. Likewise, the people that were listening to that video, and also people then quickly put on the comments say, waiting, oh my God. People were just comfortable. And if we are comfortable with these kind of situations, it means it's either we are perpetrators ourselves of such acts, or we are happy for such acts to happen, or like when my brother say boy say he say the culture, this culture of acceptance of behaviors, the way we don't see, many of us don't come on a situation then a salon where we know that these things can happen. Me, I know of a school friend of mine who was impregnated by a steppapa. I know of a girl where a steppapa run away with him na salon. We don't get cases right now in the UK under child safeguarding child protection where a stepfather done the molest in child for many many years. So if we are that comfortable because we want to protect this person, because now we friend, now we politician, now we political party in person, and we not think for a moment, say actually we don't want these kind of entities in our midst, regardless, say that we person. If we are convicted by the fact, we have that conviction, say this person don't do something so terrible, I don't want for day around this person, or I want less something happy right now. So what we brothers say, they're glad the way we Monday na I think this is where I want to also challenge Monday now, because we are all victims of this situation where happened to this young woman. Because for me, I hear that I'm a mother of two children, two girls and a boy. I get grand pikin. Is this the society I want for let me gal pikin and grow in, where we so tolerant towards? We should have zero tolerance to such behavior. You know, And again, like you say, and I'm glad the way you touched on that, when it comes to the international community, these are local problems. It's not for the international community to solve. If we have had, if we as a people not be don't invest so much of we time and energy, they entice, they sorry for use this word, but I have to use it, scratch the scrotum of politicians them, hold them like they are gods, not question them, not ask them, not nothing. What would we expect? You can't give what you don't have.
That's
We
right.
don't put politics, we don't put politicians at a place where they are no longer accountable to us. We cannot question them. And I can see why there is no response, because currently the government will say, who is the person calling us or challenging us? Or they too that and the opposition. Quick, they don't point a finger, because unfortunately, some of the very people that are questioning the government are somewhat sorry for saying this if anybody take offense to this, but sometimes when I they talk on these cases, I always they be very mindful of the people that really question the problem. Like, what is your intention? Are you doing this solely on the basis of independence, or are you trying to rattle the cage because you have a grievance against the government because you are no longer in power? Then in that case, there are all the problems. For me, all of these
Yeah,
people are the problem, because what we are seeing
exactly.
now, what's the word I want to use? I want to talk about Korean, but the English not they allow me. It's not different to what we been see during the time of President Anesbai Koroma.
Yeah.
These things were also happening.
Yes.
So we need an overhaul of we approach to these things, yes. Civil society needs to separate themselves from politics. We are not politicians, but even me self, I'm glad the way you mentioned the case of Khadija. Khadija, I was contacted in the United Kingdom by the father of the deceased, Khadija. We begin the campaign with I am Khadija campaign. To this day, if I tell you, Matilda, I'm still working with the father. The case not on it. It's been what, 5 years since her death? There is no justice when we play these kind of games with victims. Nobody gains
And
from this kind of behavior. Them this with behavior,
right.
yeah, with mentality towards victims. There, waiting that they say, they allow again something like this for happen to somebody else. This not to the first day we don't really then kind here. If I tell you, Khadija's father, where he they go court, not to be, if not to be, I want to talk about the Korean, no, they help me here. If you want, because the papa come America, it gets small money. It be able for they go to court every day. It be able for get a lawyer. It be able for get people there for carry time. Where them people there now we not get nobody for go with there.
Yeah.
A 2-year-old child was raped brutally in Kenema. A 2-year-old child, and in that picking, it be even smaller than two, but she was two at the time of the offense.
Okay.
That child, to this day, we have not had a successful prosecution. The case they caught,
Well, now the reason.
where you see the experiences of victims then are caught. Pen, they get for buy pen, they get for buy
Yeah.
writing paper, for take down notes. There is no justice when we there is no
Yeah. I know.
justice.
I know.
Literally,
Say
there
the
is no
whole
justice.
all them thing and I think the whole don't they talk but and we not go stop for talk but then if we want to go through the list of things then where we need for talk about oh my goodness the system na salon
We
then
get
it
what
will be something. Eh?
we get what we paid for.
It's true
We
you
get
get
what
what you
we
paid
paid
for, but it's so sad at the end.
It's
I dey look
sad,
at the
but
time because we are in una go forgive me famble them this weekend na Thanksgiving weekend na Canada and I get guests them for take care of. So therefore I have to really, really watch my time and be on time. Make me man no samos me. you
Let me,
know.
let me just
So,
summarize fast, Matilda. You see, as a start, where we started in the beginning, we made everything into politics. We made everything into politics. Now they kick me in the face. So me, I
indeed.
get one belief,
And
and I always talk about it. This is a turning point for Sierra Leone, but we have to stand up for the truth. We have to be honest about what you would talk. I not go can't talk now because I be holding a power and not like them. If I get for
yes.
condemn and say like condemn and because I know say what I'm saying is not with any ulterior motive.
Motive, yes. Yes. So I want for before we close the show, I want to take a minute and read through. I they ask a question and then they go be and then I will give me guess them about 5 minutes for respond to this my final question. Yeah. So um I want to read Lamrana Ba, right? Now he's a freelance journalist. He does his own thing. In message to the person in question and the response where he gets back from this person, and then just do a quick reflection on that. Okay. So, Lamrana Ba reached out to Dr. Sandy, so the alleged perpetrator in question. He reached out to him and in a very civil manner and said to him, basically what he is say, I'm going to read the write-up. He said, Sierra Leone's Minister of Work and Public Assets, um, and public assets, Dr. Dennis Sandy has been accused of rape and sexual harassment by his stepdaughters. So, in light of that, Lamrana reached out to them, and at this Lamrana said, Dr. Sandy hasn't made any public statement or denied the allegations of even an audio recording alleging um, allegedly with his voice that has gone viral. As with everyone that needs to be heard, I respectfully reached out to him to get his side of the story, and he replied without denying the allegation. Here is his response to my SMS, right? So when he reached out to Dr. Sandy, now this Dr. Sandy, in response to her, goes, "Hello, sir, kiki kiki kiki." So the kiki 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 basically is laughing, right? "Hello, sir, kiki 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 kiki. Check the news around you and you will get the answer right away. I remember again how you misfired about me regarding the toll gate review in May this year. I hope you wouldn't go down that path again. But let me ask you now a question. Why are you most times interested in bad or ugly news about government officers than the good news they generate from their jobs? Question mark. Is that what your own journalism is all about? So what did Dr. Sandy do? He turned around and asked basically a sarcastic question back to Lamrana in saying that you all time, you know, bad news you like for carry. You know, they look waiting, he say make you look around you. So basically what they try for say is that the vitriol when this lady or then two ladies here so they receive by the public, some people are empathetic towards them. Whereas, like we mentioned, she's received a lot of vitriol. You don't receive a lot of what they can say bad talk, you know. Some people are not accused and say in a paid agent of the opposition. Some people are not accused and say now the opposition I put them up to this. But I just want to take, like I say, I want to give me guests them 5 minutes for close off. I just want to take a minute, make we reflect on this, right? In they say the answer is all around you. So what really is the answer? Because if I recall clearly, and I would really love for sit with this young lady, make it calm. Because sometimes when you're explaining your story and you not get somebody where they ask you direct question for make you confirm certain things, then people they know they understand. If I recall clearly from in audios them or from in narrations them, one of the few times she spoke about this was the all black event organized by Asma James. When she first, if I'm not mistaken, first brought this thing to light. Now, in that event, Asma James was there. Asma James is a seasoned journalist, wait for know how to pick on things them and do a follow-up question or follow-up investigation on waiting the person don't talk. Now you young platform, now you young stage. I don't think anything was done. There was another time where she alleged that the first lady as well was part of the audience where she spoke. And she even said that she feared for the life of her mother. Now, here's what this first lady said. It wasn't only the first lady, but there were other dignitaries. And she even said there is a high member, high ranking person in your government that is not who the person claims to be. If me there, all the high and ranking officials that were there, I'm not gonna meet this lady and ask her a question. But here is what is even more telling. If I listen to her well, it say when he reach out to people like the singers and the knots, instead of make them address the issue head on, instead them pacify them for make it bring the post them down, for make it bring in narrations them down. Why would they do that? The why is what is missing here. Because if you're going to pacify me for make I not take an action, what action are you going to take that will make me feel as though I am being heard? Right? The other thing where I arrive at people saying, you know, the civil society, they know they react, they know they do anything. I have come to two conclusions. It is either they are politically steep or they have become totally numb, immune. It is either they have become politically steeped, women for say because they are politically steeped, they are deaf, they are completely numb to anything, or they have been in it so much, getting nothing in return for waiting and they do, that they themselves numbness have captured their body. They don't know how to react anymore. They don't know what to do anymore. They don't tire. Right? So these are the two conclusions then where me come up to. But let us look at even what is even more telling in this whole thing. When this lady they doing narrations them, I see the people them where it can tag. They tag the American embassy, they tag the president, the first lady, some of the ministers. And she does so, they do that with a challenge. At every time, they always say, I am ready to take a polygraph test. Always. Now, somebody will not sit down in safe. Again, remember, innocent until proven guilty. But I think I've been in this field for a long time to be able to deduce certain things. Somebody will not sit down in safe. How that person they go say, anytime bring professionals so long as they are third-party neutral accredited professionals. I am ready to take a polygraph test. If you don't know what's in a polygraph test for some of you, lie detective test. So meaning that if na lie is a lie pan this man, that lie detective test day, when the results come on and do, it go show say, like where some then they say, na pay them pay am, she's an agent, she's a this, it go show. So to my guest, I'm looking at the time, I only have about, I wish I had more time to give to you, but I'll give you all 3 minutes to give your final remarks. One thing I can guarantee the audience, this is not the end of this discussion. If you know one thing about me, when I said this is not the end, I mean this is not the end. It means for say, look forward to a part 3. Make I give them time for talk.
Do I come in?
So, yes, please.
I would try not to take more than 2 minutes.
Okay,
You
sir.
see, when I read text, I try to look at the meaning in the text. The reply of Sandy to Lamrana tells you the whole thing. Hello, sir. Kikiki. Check the news around and you will get the answer right away. He has said it all in that statement. Interpret that statement. It tells you not to me one green. What he's saying here, we are culturally convenient with this kind of activity. So do we expect any action officially? No. And that is collaborated by the fact that when this lady came out with this thing, people like David Senger tried to go on to her to say, take this post down. They tell say nothing more than they do. It's convenient for them. Cultural convenience. Now therefore look at and see how we go get them people have to say, yes, this may be convenient for you, but it's not convenient for every Sierra Leonean. And for me talking, I don't care whether people politicize it. My focus is on Sierra Leone. If you want to call Boy APC, you want to call me NDC or BPC or whatever. It is wrong, and we have to accept it is wrong. Julius Sandy should be suspended, and an investigation should be set up. I'll end it there.
Thank you very much, sir. We'll go to you, Mr. Lima.
Yes. First of all, Matilda, as always, thank you. And thank you for the hard hitting questions that we get from the audience and the caller that we come in. But I want to turn and speak to the victim, right? And many victims that within Sierra Leone. You know, it takes the whole gut. When I say enough energy for let a victim speak up. And for this young woman, I believe you. And I speak to any victim, regardless of the circumstance of your situation. I believe everything you say because it has taken her so much to come out here and speak. And to the Sierra Leonean people, them, and to everybody where they get for watch this program. You know, if we don't stop, Mandela say, and it's a phrase I always use, when you want to know the state of a society, look at the way it treats its children. We are the children of Sierra Leone. If we are not aggrieved, we're not bothered, we are not emotionally, psychologically traumatized from an experience coming from somebody with close proximity to their accusers, the alleged perpetrator. This person is saying this has happened. And if we look at the response, obviously, again, without evidence of the actual, I would have liked to see the actual response showing the person name, because again, he might say this is somebody just trying to put something out there. You know, there is this presumption in the world of communication. He could have simply said no comment until further notice. But for me, the response in the politician, it's almost like for somebody who has had this kind of interaction. When I talk about FGM, I don't get politician. They don't call me, threaten me. I don't get woman. They don't call me, threaten me. And it's like no qualms about what is it that they defend, that to a point I ask myself, here I was as vulnerable and sensitive as I was, making the depth of my heart known to the people to say I was sexually abused when I was subjected to female genital mutilation. Nobody nothing say, hang on a minute, Alima no will go to this extent for expose himself in the way we expose himself so.
because it's embarrassing, it's shameful. But you know what? Regardless of how I feel and what I feel, to be honest, I don't give a rat's hoot how I feel and what I feel. As long as I don't tell the world, because in doing that, I'm taking the power that was once taken away from me. So when we agree, when we align, when we side with perpetrators of abuse, we are saying and we are normalizing and we are accepting, and in doing so we ourselves are rapists. Everybody way aside without stepping back and saying, you know what, Teen, there is nothing for this young woman to gain by coming out and calling out something so personal. Her father, her father would laugh at such a thing. Let's say this was his daughter. If self you say, okay, my daughter is lying, maybe she's making something up and da 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 da, which is always the case, they will say the victim they lie. This is why victims don't come forward. Because the chances are that the public are going to say we don't believe you. Then we'll say, oh, now because you wear short skirt, you go to my office. Now because why make you tie a towel where you go before you? You know how many kids they don't molest now, Sierra Leone, how many women we have today. And you mentioned something about women's role in these processes we have in our country. Unfortunately, one of my friends, Jamila Jamil, said something to the effect. There are drivers of patriarchy in a country like Sierra Leone, where everybody, women in this case, have been exposed to high levels of sexual and gender-based violence. They are comfortable not speaking out. Right. Some of them are partakers of the very abuse we are calling out today. They were witnesses. We don't see abuse, and they say it's okay. Then they go say, oh no, no say now your uncle, no go tell person. They will blame the victim to make the perpetrator get away. We begin for make perpetrators of abuse uncomfortable with their actions. Right. This silence to the abuse of we nation, because this abuse of this young woman, it's an abuse on our consciousness. How me go sleep net knowing say somebody in Pekin, they go to bed every night in pain, knowing say we don't turn we back at them. There's nothing for her to gain in coming out and speaking. If anything, she has lost a lot. So but somebody is so prepared, they say, "Una take a lie detector test." This is not somebody they say, "This is don't happen to me," and she's trying everything to make us know that she is telling the truth. There's no need for her to say, let me take a lie detector test. But she's saying this because she knows if I don't use this justification, people then will they think say I dey lie. So me, I believe her, and I believe any other woman, girl, child. Yesterday was the day of the girl child. And I saw all these exorbitant statements. They were just mere words that don't mean nothing. And this is the state of our society today in Sierra Leone. They make statements with no thinking along the lines, what would this mean for our women and girls? Us, by now, I want to see every father, and this is a conversation we really must be having, maybe next week, is what is the role of our men in defending our rights as women and girls in Sierra Leone? This is a conversation we've never had. When I was small, the reason why I become an activist and I've become so prolific in my stance is because I have a father, my daddy, na 84 years old today. But as a child, my daddy always makes sure, say, I know I have a right, and anything that ever happens to me, I can tell my dad. Me, granny put me bondo because me daddy say we not for go bondo, but me granny insist say we papa they protect we. When me daddy found out, he was so angry. Why we papa them for stick out? If you not, most of them people here with this young lady called, they are fathers themselves. Imagine this person gets away with it. It go do unto you, young Pekin. He gets away and we get another victim. What would we do? Back to Mandela in statement. Mandela said, if you want to know the state of a society, look at the ways we treat our children. There is no point in us having hands off our girls and child marriage and violence against women and girls if these are just mere words and just makeup on a costume. We need to actually be showing that we mean what we are saying. Last week, I was at the VOS School event where Madabio spoke. And again, this is a message to my president, because I have been in the same shoes as this girl when I sent a personal letter. You know, Umar Ofofana, they get a town hall. I wrote to the president as a personal citizen of Sierra Leone. Says, sir, I started my letter, dear sir, your excellency, my name is this. As a victim, I want you to do this for my country. In fact, when he read that letter, Matilda, this is something I'm sharing publicly and personally. It was very difficult, but I did share. When the letter was read out by Umaru, even Umaru Fofana had a bit of a glare in tone. Then the president laughed. Then the audience responded also with a laugh. You know, I'm 55-year-old woman, so it not bother me that much. But you know what in that said to me? In other setting, people would have taken a step back. I don't know if una all be remember where he say in ending FGM, Ingo commit political suicide. But before he said that statement, he said it in a way that it was so almost like degrading, derogatory. I mean, this is my perception and how I take it. Perhaps that's not what he meant, but for me, it belittled the statement by in response. It make him as if it was a white people thing. Was one this one you can't ask me. Twice he's done it without not thinking. Here is a father. I call him Pekin Amina, me president. Reason being, this was I don't know how old she was, 2 or 3 or 4 years old, but she was part of the signing of her father when he became a president. The night I watched that ceremony, I said to myself, I am like Amina, a child who once saw her dad sign things that will bring great things to Sierra Leone. Amina will grow seeing this action of her father. She will become this empowered, inspired young woman. So I dey talk to them, Papa, then today. The little young lady that spoke, unfortunately, obviously her father is not in her life. Now that make it get his step Papa. But if you get him, Papa, please reach out to your daughter. Men, if you have daughters, put yourself in the position of this young woman. Una all get for watch like me, so I don't married, I don't left me ex-husband. I will go married. If my daughter come to me and say something is going on with me and my stepdaddy, I would be quick to act because my children come first. There are many children up and down where this experience they go to. I know say time is not on our side, but I'm using this emotional plea to say, let us stop for a moment. Remove the politics in this scenario. Remove the attachment to power. This is a vulnerable situation that we all get for examine and say we want to see some kind of act from the state and those responsible for make sure say we not get a case like this again. But let we not dismiss them. Let we not think like say this is not something for us to. We need for act. We need for act. Thank you so
We
much.
need for
If I
act.
take up your
Thank you
time.
very much. Yeah, definitely we need for act and we need for act soon. I dey read the comments them from the audience then no YouTube. Thank you very much to all 50 something of you watching on YouTube, and obviously not all the time I can open all of the different platforms then, but thank you to those watching on X. Thank you to those watching on Facebook and what have you. I just want for say two the two one of my viewers then Peter Dowder, I can focus on some of what they say. You say you're not a trained criminologist, and you also make a comment that you will take such allegations with a pinch of salt. Now I want to make it is okay if that is your view, but sometimes when we say these things and the manner in which you they say at the comment, me they invite you personally. How about we have a sit down and have a conversation? Because sometimes to be behind a keyboard and be sharp or be short with people, it is very easy. However, if you not the expert where you claim for be, and the knowledge, like you say, you are Cambridge trained. I am not Cambridge trained. I am university and life trained. University of Ottawa and life trained, right? And then at the expertise when me they bring can at the table. So you come with your Cambridge train, and let me come with my University of Ottawa and life train, and let's have a conversation around this. I invite you to my platform, not just on the keyboard, but like when you see me so in person, you able for experience me. Myself go want to see you in person and experience you. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, no matter how we slice the cake, make we not forget say these two ladies in questions, they are a daughter. I don't care if he married the mama, not to inborn them biologically. The fact that say when he married the mama, it means say he sign up for take on the baggage of the mama, and the baggage of the mama na them. They come as a team. They come as one unit. They do not come as a divided unit. So make we think through some of the things and where would they say. Remember this lady, she said when she was 8 years old and when she was 18 years old. Now she's in her 30s. She's in her 30s, and just imagine the internal trauma still where it go through for be able for someone the courage and say, damn the day, damn the hour, I care not me, I will stand and speak my truth. Think about that. Think about that, people. As I left una today, I want to say happy Thanksgiving to those of you who are celebrating Thanksgiving in Canada. It's Thanksgiving weekend. Be grateful for something. I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful for the air that I breathe. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for the little things that are so insignificant, but that I'm able to have the strength to be part of, to be present for, and to participate in. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and thank you all to my panelists. Goodbye.
Thank you very much. Have a great evening. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very
So,
much.
Mr. Dauda, please change the Kumande culture. Your words are telling.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Na so we say make we drive kush na salon. But we life
That is so right, yeah now. What's if they do when we bother them, then they die? Push them down the hill, now them body just they try. So foot at them body, they and night, they just they cry. Now we bother them foot so they swell, now why? I don't know if now the chemical or what's in then they put. Best now for avoid them, nothing but the suit. Other food and they for it, come up and kush. We say bring this message so you do work for you. On the
Every day we dey lost it